This is your Greater Portland real estate update. These are closed sales in the last 7 days, median numbers. Days on market came down a little bit to 10 days on market. The sale to list ratio is still at 100%. Your median closed price dropped down quite a bit to $475,000. Moving on to the national benchmarks. First, you got US inflation. So we're still at 3.4%, higher than the Fed goal of 2, but steady in terms of the direction it is going. Your average 30-year fixed interest rate came down just a little bit to 6.6%, and your annual appreciation of real estate, according to Case Shiller, is at just 1.1%, lower than the 4% 50-year average. So this week's spotlight is something that's particularly scary to me. It is AI is powerful, and so are all the scammers, and how AI is affecting real estate scams. So, the take home I want you to have from this is that it has become extremely easy to create a scam. Previously, if you wanted a bot, if you wanted a process, if you wanted an email, if you wanted a landing page, you have to have a certain skill set to create all of those things, to implement all of those things. And so you'd have a high level scammer to be able to do that. With AI, it is extremely easy to create a bot that is seeking out some public information, then creating an inquiry from that public information and sending it to the right people with the same public information. I want to give you a couple of examples just from the last month that I've come across that hopefully will help you understand some of how this is working. So I had a buyer who is buying a property and they're looking to do a change of use. So they went to the town, right? They went before the town, the planning board. This is a public event, and those meetings are publicly recorded. So somebody has a bot that's searching for town meetings. That bot is then creating an invoice to pay the permit and sending it to the person whose name appeared applying for that permit. So they look them up, they find their email, and they say, hey, to get that permit approved, please pay this permit invoice. So my buyer received an email, looked super legit from the town, that said you need to pay for your permit. Was not from the town, was not the right amount. Luckily, they spotted that and realized that. Luckily, they didn't pay the permit, but this is a scam that anytime you go to apply for a permit, if it's at your town where the town publicly announces that, this bot can go find who did that, what they're expecting to pay, and say, hey, go ahead and pay this invoice. And that money goes to them, not to the town, and that money is probably lost forever. Another example, when you're a seller and you have a property on the market, right, and it goes pending, it's highly likely that title work is now involved. And it's highly likely it's a local title company. So the bot can search for properties that go from active to pending. It can hunt the public records to say who is the seller on that. And it can hunt for local title companies and then send that seller, because your email's probably out there somewhere, an email that says, hey, congratulations on going under contract. Please fill out this seller questionnaire. Totally typical thing for a seller to receive after going under contract. Only problem is not from a legitimate title company, and you're giving them your personal information, your mortgage information, maybe your social security number. You're going into this phishing scam and giving them all the things they need to then hijack your identity. A third one, they can search public records and say, hey, what are vacant lands with absentee owners, owners who have addresses in another state? They can say, great, that owner probably has no idea what's going on with this land. I'm going to then find buyers in the area, and I'm going to just send out emails saying, would you like this land at a super discount? I'm going to sell that land to that buyer for cash. They think they bought the land. In fact, I'm not the seller. In fact, the title company used was baloney, and you didn't buy anything, and I now have your money. So obviously terrifying, obviously way too easy to create and access all this public information. So for you as a buyer and seller, my advice with all of these scams popping up is, when you get an incoming inquiry, do not do anything. A text asking for something, a phone call asking for something, an email asking for something. It might be from the title company, it might be from your lender, but do not give them anything from an incoming inquiry. Stop, go to your agent, and then you should make an outgoing inquiry to the same person. Title company was asking for something. Let me go to my agent, get the information, and I'll make an outgoing inquiry to said title company. And then I will give them the information. Incoming means don't do anything. And this is just not real estate. This is if you get a text quote from Bank of America that your automatic billing has not gone through. Do not respond. It's incoming, right? Call Bank of America yourself, figure out if it's legit, and then solve the problem. I hope this was helpful. Scams in general are rampant right now. Real estate scams are super easy because public information makes it seem so legitimate. Have a great week. Let me know if you have any questions.